We will wait another 2 to 3 minutes and then we will start, okay?
Okay.
Where do you come from, AJ?
Oh, I live in the eastern U.S.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it took me a while to find out what time it is because I did not know what SP was for a bit.
Oh, no worries. So what's the time in your country right now?
9 in the morning.
9 in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 9 p.m. in Singapore.
Oh,
Have you already started learning Chinese?
yes, I started learning some.
Okay. So I'm not sure if this is gonna be maybe too easy for you.
Oh, probably not. Pronunciation isn't my touche.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Okay, I guess it's 9 o'clock, so maybe we can start and then we just maybe wait a little bit while we are talking. So I think it's just two of you, which is nice. And then if any of you want to ask questions or you can just type in the chat box or you can just open your mic, okay?
Okay.
Mm. Anyway, I'll always post this in my YouTube channel. So if you want to review, come back with it, and then you can just check the video later or can send to friends. Okay. So welcome, guys. This is the Chinese beginner class. I'm sure two of you already know a little bit about Chinese, right? Okay.
Mhm.
How? So first of all, we need to talk about the three components of a Chinese character. So the first one is sound. The second is shape, which is the character, how do you write it? And the third one is meaning. So let's take an example with 我. So we all know the shape is like this, and the sound is 我, right? So it's composed by a initial and a final. And then the meaning is me or I. So these are the three components of a Chinese character. So now, have you ever like tried to ask your Chinese teacher, or have you ever wondered like why do we need character instead of we can just simply use pinyin? Have you?
Uh, I just assumed it was something to do with cultural, how
Yeah,
the Chinese
yeah,
characters are.
definitely. Yes, agree. So this question is as it's very frequently asked actually. So there are many reasons, and these are just my opinion, and you are very welcome to bring your opinion as well. So the first one I believe is many Chinese characters they have the same pronunciation but with completely different meaning. So for example, 举个例子. So if you just look at these pinyin, do you have any idea what it would be talking about?
No.
Yeah. So this is actually a written, it's like a short passage written for a magazine by some writers, and this whole sentence it actually means that when it's raining, you fish, someone fish at Chongqing. Yu is the name of Chongqing, and then fish give birth to next generation in the rain. So the whole sentence is the meaning of this, but then the sound is very similar. So that's why the first reason we cannot only use pinyin. And the second reason, I believe, it will lose the beauty of Chinese character. So Chinese characters are developed during time. So let's take an example of car. I'm not sure if you can see my web page or not.
No.
Oh, okay. So it just simply means that so for the simple character car, now it looks like this, right? 车. But then before that, it literally looks like a painting, like a picture, a car, like a carriage car. And then gradually this character developed into the traditional one and now the simplified one. So if we don't use the character anymore, then it loses the beauty of the culture. It's part of the culture, right? Just like what you said. Okay. So for Pinyin, I know 8373, I know you have a little bit problem with pronunciation. So this is a very important part actually. So Chinese, we have 3 parts for one character, right? And then for Pinyin, you also have 3 components. The first one is initials. So they are consonants. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read them one by one, and then you can check by yourself or you can read with me as well. See if your pronunciation is okay or not okay, okay? Okay, I'm gonna start with b, p, m, f, d, t, n, l, g, k, h, j, q, x, zh, ch, sh, r, z, c, s, i, u. So the last 2 are not technically consonants. They are borrowed from vowels. So this is just another case. You don't really need to know why, but you can just remember it as consonants. And next, we will have vowels, right? Or we call it finals. So there are 6 single vowels, which are here, which we called a, o, e, i, u, yu. So some teachers, they call the second one wo, wo. So it's okay because technically they can be called wo, but the standard one is o, o. The reason why they say it's wo is just because it's easier for people to make a combination with the initials. Oh, I saw there are some people asking me what's the link. Sorry, guys, just a minute. I will. Okay, type again. Okay, then we have double finals. We have 18 double finals, which is I, A, Wei, O, O, U, Ye, Yue, An, En, Yin, Wun, Yun, Ang, Eng, Ying, Ong. So these are the double finals. So for the ones that you only need to remember 24, so here are 6 plus 18, right? 24. So some books, you can see that they say there are 39, 38, 35. I can only say that it's okay, it's good for you to know, but we don't really use the rest. The rest are actually developed into this 24. So you only need to know this 24. Even if you go to a Chinese native speaker, they wouldn't even know that there is 39. So this is more like a linguistic side knowledge, which you don't really need to know. And the third part is the tone. Many foreigners, they struggle with the tone because they can't, they just can't grasp like how do you do the tone, right? So let me just take with an example. So the first tone we call it 音频. So it's so it's just your very comfortable level of the pronunciation. You don't need to really use lots of strength. It's just like very flat. And the second tone is ah, ah. So it's more like if you put up a question, like in the end there is a tone up, right? So ah, ah. And the third tone is ah, ah. So it's like the first half is like toned down a little bit, and then the second half is toned up a little bit. And then the last one is ah, ah. So the last one is easier because it just simply feels like it's like a stress. It's like when someone step on your feet and then you're like ah, right? So that's very similar to the fourth tone. And if you could not remember this, I hope the picture here can help you. We call it 五度图. So it's like a music note that helps you to remember the tone of these four tones. So the first one is 5/5, which is a flat one. And then the second tone is from 3 to 5. So it's like ah. And then the third tone is like 2-1-4. So it's like ah. And then the fourth tone is like ah. So from the top to the bottom, 5 to 1. Do you have any questions for this part? If you don't have questions, I assume you okay with this part, right?
See.
Coffee, you have any questions? I feel like you missed this slide, right? You didn't. Yeah. So basically, we were just talking about how many initials and how many finals we have in Chinese. So 23 initials and 24 finals. And then we have 4 tone. Ah, 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 ah. Okay. 好. Okay, 好. Let's look at the first. Okay, so let's look at the first pair. So I put them in pair. B, P, M, F. So these four, why we group them together is because they are pronounced by the touch of your two lips. So it's easier if we learn this together. So I will read them one more time, and then you can maybe read after me, or you can mute your mic or whatever. I don't mind. Okay. So the first one is B, B, B. The second one is P, P. So it's like you give out, like you exhale the breath, and then if you have a paper in front of you, the paper should be able to be blown away. So it's like there is an air going out. P, P. And then M, M. And then F, F. So it's quite similar to English word when you say like boy, pot, mother, father. So it's very similar to the first sound. And then the finals. The first one is a, a, o, o, e, e, i, i, u, u, ü, ü. Many of the students, they feel that the ü is the most difficult one because you don't have this sound in maybe in English or in other language. So this one need a little bit more practice. So you can pronounce the u first and then try to use more strength and then try to make your lips even smaller. So it's like you can feel the strength around your lips. Okay. So the first one is b. And when it's combined with the vowel, which also we call finals, so it becomes a syllable we call ba, b, a, ba, b, a, ba. And here are some examples with the sound that has ba. Okay. So the first one, ba, it means 8. And then ba means pull out. Ba. So some of you already learned 把字句, right? A 把 B 怎么样? So it's like indicate an action from A to B. A done something to B. 爸 means dead. 爸爸 dead, right? Quite similar. Any questions for this slide? By the way, I don't really mean like B can be only combined with A. I just take this for example because I want to, make them in a pair and then talk about it. You can also with bo, o, and bo, and bo, i, bi, right? Bo, wu, bu. We don't have bo, this combination or bo, yu, this combination. Any questions? Okay, then let's move on. Hope it's not too overwhelming for you guys. Okay, the next pair, pa, pa. The difference between this one and the last one, remember, is the air is going out like quite strong. Pa plus o, po, po, po. Okay, here are the 4 examples of different tone. So the first one, po, po means hill. It can be uphill, can be downhill. Po, po, elder lady, 老婆婆. Po, po. This character not very commonly seen or used, only maybe in one 成语, the Chinese idiom called 居心叵测, like someone's heart cannot be gauged. The last one, 破. This one very often used, right? 破, broken. Okay. 破 can also, sorry, not 破. 破 can also be combined with 破啊, 怕, 破一, 皮. Any questions? 破无谱 also can. No question? Okay, let's move on. Next pair. M. M. So it's quite light, very gentle. M. M. So this one, you often see it as 什么, right? The word what, 什么, the 么 here. And also, it's not very common for you to see this combination actually. Not lots of word with 么. So I take another one as example. So m plus me, e. So it's me, me. And then we have tones. So it will be, so the first one, me, me. It means what? It means your eyes squint. You squint your eyes to look at stuff. So me. And then me, me, 迷路, you're lost, right? Or 是一个谜, it is a mystery. The third one, 米, 米, 大米, rice, right? Chinese people love rice. 米. And then the first one, me. Me. It can be something very secret, not known by other people. Okay. Any questions? M can also be combined with mo a ma, mo mo, mo there are people coming. Okay. And then mo yi mi, mo mu, mo wu mu, mo wu mu, mo wu mu. They all have. Okay. Any questions? Okay, then let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so our last initials is f, f, f. It's just like when you say father in English, it's very similar to the F sound here, right? F. And then you have u, u. So together you have fu, fu. And then we have 4 tones, right? So examples here, fu, you can say it husband, 我的丈夫, my husband, right? But when you say 我的夫人, it means my wife. So it's it really depends on what's the next character together with this one, okay? And then 浮 means float. 浮浮起来 float up. 腐 means rotten. 腐 something is rotten. 这个苹果腐烂了. The apple is rotten. 富 is rich. Okay? 夫 fu. Any questions? Any sound that you feel like that is very hard to pronounce? No? Okay. Don't be shy. Okay, let's move on to the last one. Yu. So yu itself, actually, it can be independent as a pronunciation for a character. So it doesn't really need any initials. However, because we love to pair stuff up, so we feel like yu itself is very lonely. So we give it a friend. So it's yi. So yu sound, the beginning of the yu sound, it's a little bit similar to e, right? So we pair this y here just to show that the pronunciation process is like yu. So it's like from a little bit from e and then gradually transit into yu. So you just need to remember that when you spell a yu sound, it's always e and yu. The 2 dots here are removed. Okay, the 2 dots here are removed. So whenever the yu is combined together with another initials, you remove the 2 dots. Okay. Except besides yi, we have ji, qi, xi. When they spell with yu, you should take off its 2 dots. Okay. The examples here. Okay, the first one, yu means blocked. And then, oh, sorry. And yu here is fish, yu. And then yu is ring. Yu, jade, yu, 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 yu. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I take you don't have any questions. Okay, for the single finals, which we learned today is a, o, e, u, ü. Okay. So these are the shapes of your mouth, that how it's supposed to be. So if you heard other teachers say all as wo, don't feel like they are wrong, because there are actually two ways to teach. Both are okay. It doesn't really affect your pronunciation when it's combined with the initials. It's okay. And the ü is actually harder than the u sound. So your lips use more strength to pronounce this sound, these vowels. Ü, ü. Okay. These are the very easy, the easiest text that I could find from HSK1. So if you guys are okay, I could, continue this page. If you feel like it's a bit overwhelming already, then I will just stop here. What do you think? Okay, I'll then just continue with this text, okay? So the first one, 你好,你好. So this is the simplest way, like to say hello to someone, right? 你好. It literally means you and good. You good. So we believe that we're asking you that 你好, and then you say 你好, it means we both are okay. And then the second is 您好,您好. I know we haven't covered the no sound yet, but just for you to know that 您 is actually a respect way for us to call other people, especially someone who is older and someone who is, have a higher position, hierarchy in the society. For example, if you say 您好, normally you say to your teacher, to your boss, to a old lady or a grandpa, grandma, you'll say 您好. And then 你们好,你们好. So it's like you are talking to multiple people. 你们好. And then the last one, 对不起,对不起. And then it means I'm sorry, right? And then how do I answer? 没关系,没关系. Some people they pronounce too hard. So for example, some people say 没关系,没关系. So the emphasis is very like quite outstanding if you put it on the last character. So we tend to say 没关系,没关系. So the last one will be like a muted tone, like 轻声. So it doesn't really pronounce as the fourth tone, but more like a very gentle one. 没关系,没关系. Okay. And this 您好,您好 is quite typical in Beijing, or if you go to north part of China. So there are many people who use 您好,您好 to say hello to someone who is older or have a higher social hierarchy. But I'm not sure if it's that widely used in south part of China. So it really depends on where you are. And if people don't use 您好 to the older ones, then probably you don't need to, or you can just follow this rule. It's just up to you. Okay. How's everything? AJ, coffee. 78. How's everything?
All good.
Okay. So AJ, do you wanna like maybe read this a little bit and then let us see, maybe have a get to know you a little bit, maybe try to read it a little bit.
Okay, so 你好，我名字 AJ.
Mhm.
你好，什么名字？
啊，你好，AJ，我的名字是 Lexie。
Okay.
还有吗？Anything else？
Apart from something really random, 我想猫 kill 了。
Sorry, you what？
I want cola. That's
哦，你想要可乐
cola. Yeah.
啊？OK，好。So I think you're doing pretty good. Like, I mean, you are brave to show yourself. Let's give you a round of applause. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. Some of my students they tell me that the tones are very difficult. Like even the kids, like Chinese kids, but they are born in Singapore, like they don't really speak Chinese. They find the tones also very hard. So let me just go back to the tones a little bit, and then we can maybe I can help you go over it again, and let's see how does it help you better. Okay. So I don't know if do you play any music instrument?
Yes.
Hey, where is my oh yeah, here. So I find this music note picture that can sometimes help people a little bit. So the first tone, say for example, 你好,你好. There is a tone changing involved in these two words. So when the two third tone word put together, for example, 你 and 好, they are both third tone, right? We
Mhm.
change the first one to the second tone. So the reason why we change it, because if you say 你好, it's very like it's not even convenient for us. So we kind of just change it to the second tone. So it's like 你好,你好. But some people they confuse a little bit about the first tone and the second tone because the second tone might not be that outstanding compared to the first one. So how about like this, AJ? Do you want to try to read, take as example? Do you want to try to read these four tones?
Sure. Ah, 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 ah.
Ah, ah,
Ah.
ah, ah, ah. Okay, so the third and fourth tone maybe can do a little bit more clear and firm, you know.
Mhm.
So that will be better. And then when you say 你好, so it's like 你好,你好. And also the first one and the the first and the fourth one sometimes can be confused as well. So some people like 我是 is supposed to be 我是, right? And some
Mhm.
people say 我是, 我是. So these are the part that sometimes people confuse as well. So if you look at these music notes, the first one is just a flat one, right? And then the last one will be like ah. So it's quite outstanding for the fourth one because it's like, you know, the tone is like going down. Ah. Is it more clear a little bit now?
Yes.
Okay. I hope I help you a little bit. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to talk about or any questions you want to ask?
What about the fifth tone? Do you just
The 轻声, right? The one that nearly like muted one, right?
yeah.
That one, we don't count it as tone.
Oh.
It's just we take it as a phenomenon of tone changing.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the word, let's make an example like 儿子. 儿子, it means son, like my son, 我的儿子. But we don't really say 我的儿子.
Okay.
So it's just for people to be more it always serves for the purpose of better communication. So if you feel like the pronunciation makes you feel very hard or uncomfortable, most likely they will be muted in the end.
Okay.
Yeah, 我的儿子. Yeah, not instead of 我的儿子.
Mm.
And I have a list of the words that need to be muted, or like most of the time that they are muted. If you want, I can send you.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in my Discord group?
See. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you are, then I'll upload that later in the Discord.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Any questions, guys? Coffee 78, do you all have any questions? If not, maybe next time we could address another maybe 8 to 9 initials and finals. So from scientifically point of view, that normally you can only remember like 5 to 10 new words per time. So don't stress yourself a lot to remember all of them at once. Okay, so Chinese is I mean it's not that easy. So it's better if you could separate them into different parts and then master them one by one. Mm. That's just my opinion. But if you are like very smart, then you don't have to.
So when learning Chinese, is it better to first like integrate the new words into normal conversation, then learn characters, or should characters come first?
I believe that you could use pinyin first and then fill in the pinyin with character.
Okay.
Yeah, so first maybe you could just remember as ni hao, but you don't really have to know how to write the word. But later, when you are more familiar with like how to talk, and then gradually you make it into writing, and then try to memorize those characters. Yeah. So speaking and listening, I would suggest to put them always in the beginning of your study.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise you look at the characters and then you're like, I don't know the sound, or like you can only write or read, but without actually can talk to people.
Okay.
But it really depends on your personal study habit and your preference. So if you feel like that way is easier, then definitely you can do it that way. This is just my feel.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so any more questions?
That's it for me.
Okay. I know 73 cannot open his mic. And Coffee, if you have no questions, then maybe I see you next time. Okay, no worries. Okay, guys, I guess we could just finish today, and then next time I will also post in the Discord, and then feel free to join the meeting. Also, I'll post this later to YouTube, and you can always have a look if you want. Okay.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. Thank you for coming, AJ. Bye
No problem.
bye.